First thing to talk about would be the main loading screen, the start screen. There's an Atlantis-themed picture with an outside area, which might make me think that Atlantis is actually in a bubble instead of actually underwater. We get a quest that says that we get a note that leads us to this island, but I checked my inventory and we don't get a note. This is just one of many inconsistencies within the story, and it's really not off to a good start.
You came. That's... Am I seeing things?
We're just going to stop for a minute before we talk to her and take a glimpse at what she's looks like. She has the same lights that come off of the steles and other the temples like Ardos. She also has lines that are on her arms which align with what Adam and Eve have on their body structure. But Adam and Eve were hybrids, and apparently Alethea is not a hybrid because she's an Isu. We have also never seen these lines on Isu before. The only other time we got to look at some Isu were in a glimpse of Unity where they segmented a very small fraction of DNA. And they were large and muscular people. She also wears a headpiece that's similar to Minerva's statue from Revelations.
Names change, but this task is eternal. You are the keeper, she who keeps the Great Seal closed and the staff of Hermes Trismegistus safe.
First off, these gestures and animations are really bad. Second off, this is the first of many instances where Desmond's story is recycled and retold. Ezio is the conduit in which Desmond sees, learns, and finds the apple. Now Cassandra is the keeper of the staff. So, as we know, if you've finished the Atlantis questline, she gives the staff to Layla. Why are they using the same plotline? Through Ezio, Desmond got the apple. Now, through Cassandra, Layla gets the staff.
Your voice. I heard it in Atlantis. You remember. My name is Alethea. With the staff in your hands, we are now entwined.
Consis was an Isu scientist who had attached himself to the first shroud. This concept was explored in Assassin's Creed Syndicate as well as the comics. Not saying they can't reuse this idea, because much like the shroud, the staff is also Isu technology that you could probably interfere with. There was also Juno who uploaded herself into the Eye. So is that just a thing now? Is everyone just uploading their consciousness into certain Isu artifacts? Is that just like a MacGuffin? Oh, you want someone to come back? Oh, well, they uploaded their consciousness. Does that also work for people? Kind of spoilers from the new French comic. They explored ideas of transferring consciousness. It's the same thing.
Entwined? How? I can now present myself to you in a form that you recognize. You must deliver me to the Heir of Memories. Even now, she watches us. When I speak to you, I speak through you to her.
So Layla is this Heir of Memories who's being spoken to through Cassandra. What does that sound like?
But you will comprehend our warning. You must.
None of what you are saying makes sense.
Our words are not meant for you.
What are you talking about? There's no one else here.
Enough. I do not wish to speak with you, but through you. You are the prophet. You've played your part. You anchor him, but please be silent, that we may commune. Listen.
Minerva said this exact same thing to Ezio during Assassin's Creed 2's ending. What made this scene originally so special was that you weren't expecting it. All we knew at this point was about the Apple of Eden and the ones who came before. But when you saw Minerva and she tilted her head towards the camera instead of Ezio, it had an impact of wonder and how you didn't know what was happening. But now it's almost expected to have someone as a conduit. Desmond being a conduit was actually important to the threads of the story. Minerva knew that Ezio would go to the temple. Minerva knew that Desmond would also go to the temple. So because of that, both of their apples, because it's the same one, were combined, and they were able to communicate that way. This was to ensure the safety of the world, so Juno wouldn't be released. But now, if the Isu messages in Origins are anything to go off of, there is another disaster incoming, and Layla will be the one to stop it using the staff. So Alethea put herself into it so she can guide her. Why are they telling the same story again? It undermines the importance of Desmond and his sacrifice. He was the perfect person to do this, to save the world. Now all of a sudden there's another end of the world? That doesn't make any sense. Desmond died for nothing. Also, while yes, I did say that Alethea is wearing a similar headdress, that does not mean they look the same. Look at these two pictures. They don't even look like they're from the same race or species. They don't even, like, how can they make Alethea look so unlike an Isu?
None of this makes any sense, Alethea.
It will. In Atlantis, the Great Seal hid itself from Pythagoras. It wants to be opened, but not by him. Your task is to prepare the Heir of Memories to open it. Pledge yourself.
Atlantis wants to be opened? Is it like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings and it wants to be found?
The staff is mine. I'm not letting this Heir or anyone else get their hands on it.
You can't avoid this forever, Keeper.
This scene yet again proves that choices in Odyssey are pointless. You can tell her that you will not do what she says, but she walks off and waits for you to come crawling back as you then
Pledge
do
yourself
exactly
to the will of the
what
staff,
she says.
to the Great Seal,
Why
to
make
the
a
Heir
choice
of
to deny
Memories?
her if you can't move on with the story
Fine.
if you don't
Pledge to
choose
keep the
yes?
staff until the Heir of Memories, whoever that is ready to take it.
Kyoshi, you cut out, you there?
Another bug. I was saying, for now, try to relax.
You then leave the Animus to hear even more calm talk over the ear, not even in person. Kyoshi mentions an important detail that will be brought up again later, about the interference.
Heir of Memories. The Great Seal awaits you.
Victoria, did you hear that?
Nothing on our end. What did you hear?
Before there was radio static, like we were being jammed, but just now I heard a voice. The same one Cassandra heard in Atlantis.
Might be the bleeding effect. Like Kyoshi said, try to relax while Alana works on the results of the diagnostic.
Go to the Seal, Heir.
So I'm assuming because Layla has a connection to the staff as well, that she now has a connection to Alethea, which is then confirmed to be true.
Cassandra's gone. What a life she must have lived.
If there's organic remains, we could get a sample.
There aren't. And you're creepy.
Layla dug through an Egyptian tomb, cut up 2 mummies just to relive their DNA, so she can prove something to Abstergo. But, you know, Victoria's creepy. She's gonna pull the staff out of her ass more than once.
The Keeper delivered me to you. Her pledge has been satisfied, and now I am entwined with you. Heir of Memories, this is the Great Seal to Atlantis. It has waited long to meet you.
Victoria, Alethea's voice is coming through the staff. Victoria?
The interloper can't hear you now.
You're scrambling my comms?
While Layla was trying to reach Victoria, Alethea called her the interloper, which Layla tried to get a confirmation from, but Alethea ignored her. This won't be the first mention, and it will also get more confusing on who the interloper is from here.
Focus, Layla. You're not going crazy. Think, that memory. If it wasn't an Animus malfunction, Cassandra was the Keeper holding the staff for me? And somehow the staff has been equipped for audio transmission and is connected to this seal.
Cassandra literally told her, take it and destroy it once you're done at the end of the Atlantis storyline. Why is she so surprised that the staff was left for her? She already knew it was left for her.
These symbols. It almost looks like a locking mechanism.
Name these symbols in order, and at long last, the seal will open to the Heir of Memories.
Okay, talking stick. But which symbols? And in what order? There must be some way to know.
The Keeper kept this riddle and more in her mind.
Altair 2. I'm going back in the Animus. If the signal gets through and you can monitor my vitals, great. If not, well, you've earned one free I told you so.
This is where we learn that this mission is just one big fetch quest, and that the memories are inside of Cassandra's mind, and that's how you're going to learn how to open up the door. This is going to turn out to be a lie, and I'll explain why later.
Keeper, our task is to guide the Heir of Memories to the symbols. A man called Theras knows of their whereabouts.
Theras? The guy who helped get Phidias out of Athens? Is that why you've brought me back to this place?
Here, the role of the Keeper bound itself to you, though you didn't know it yet. Now, to uncover the truth, we must go to Theras.
If Theras is going to help you find these symbols, and Theras is a friend of Phidias, and Phidias is a sculptor and painter, why is he looking for or know of these symbols? Why does Aletheia know that he knows these symbols? Why can't Aletheia just tell you where these symbols are? None of these will be answered.
How will I know this Heir of Memories when I see her?
She will come to you. The end of your journey is in the Hall of Atlantis, where her true journey begins.
So, Layla's true journey begins in Atlantis. So, all of Origins was a waste. The entire beginning of Odyssey was a waste just up until Atlantis. So everything before that was just a joke. They wanted the spear to change reality. How they even learned of the spear is up in the air. All of a sudden, her destiny is to go in Atlantis?
Who or what are you?
I am Aletheia. Pythagoras called my people the ones who came before, but we are the Isu.
So she is an actual Isu, despite not looking anything like other Isu.
Like you, I invited rebellion into the world, though there were complications.
First off, what kind of rebellion did Cassandra invite into the world? And second off, what kind of rebellion did Aletheia invite into the world? It was Eve's rebellion, which was started, not Aletheia's rebellion. To say that Aletheia would help Eve is just beyond ridiculous and would actually undermine the humans' effort of rebelling in the first place. It would lower their stance of power, of the fact that Eve actually stepped up herself to fight the Isu. Not, oh, here's an apple of Eden, go fight the Isu because I'm going to help you and I'm going to assist you. Sure, Minerva and Jupiter were sensitive to the cause of the humans, but that doesn't mean that they would have helped them.
I replicated my consciousness in the staff of Hermes Trismegistus so that I can speak with you and the Heir.
Confirming that she did what Consus and Juno did. Was her consciousness inside the staff the whole time, even when Hermes was traveling across the desert, and then when Pythagoras got it, and so on and so forth? Did she look through the calculations to know that Cassandra would get the staff? Like, they never said if she used her abilities or not.
I guess you're coming with me?
Our tasks are the same.
So Aletheia is going to be coming with Cass to all these locations. But if she's coming with her, she's not actually following her. So that means she's going to be, and is later proven that she's actually at those locations. Why couldn't she just tell her where the locations are to start with? Why have her go through this whole third-party system?
Two things. Something's been interrupting our comms, which explains why we lost her vitals. Kiyoshi is looking into it.
I know this sounds crazy, but I think it's the staff.
This was more proof that the team thinks Aletheia is jamming their comms.
Moving into position. We're gonna ask that you come up for air while we take a look at it.
I can't do that, Vic.
And Layla will also constantly do this throughout the mission. They tell her to get out of the Animus and fear for her safety, but Layla whines that it's her mission, it's important, and that she will stay in the Animus. And then the team just accepts it until the plot tells them to complain again. You find the guy that you're looking for, and the cult members are interrogating him. We don't know when this mission takes place, because they don't give us a date, but Legacy the First Blade did this as well. Apparently the cult is not destroyed. Oh well, who needs continuity anyway? After a stupidly long scene of choosing whether to interfere or not, you defeat the enemies, and you talk to the guy. He says that a man in gold killed Phidias, and for some reason, this guy was exploring the exact same tombs that you need to go to at the exact same time before this mission, and wrote down the exact symbols that you need, and knows exactly where they are, because he remembers, for some reason, he remembers where they were. And Phidias, like I mentioned before, was for some reason researching these things as well as him. Why? They don't explain.
There's Alethea, waiting and...
Alethea was waiting in the tomb this whole time. What's the point of going through the third party? Why meet Phidias' friend? She knew exactly where the tomb was.
Keeper, come closer.
Because these next few scenes are indoors, they really show off better lighting, and the fact that Alethea is actually there rather than a hologram, despite the fact that she transported her consciousness through the staff. Like I mentioned before, Juno was in the Grand Temple. She uploaded herself to the Eye. She wasn't actually there. It was her consciousness. She needed a body to interact with the physical world, so she got one in the comics. As stupid as that storyline was, it actually made sense that she was a hologram. That's why she looked like a hologram. Why does Alethea look like a normal human being, despite the fact that she's a consciousness?
So, what now?
Now is relative. With this information, will the Heir open her eyes and unlock the symbol?
Sounds like the Heir has some time. She can wait.
You're telling me that Cassandra just told Layla in the future to wait?
The Heir now knows where the symbol lies. Will she unlock it?
She will now.
Why would Layla need Cassandra's permission to exit the Animus? If Cassandra's at the location, that means Layla knows of the location. Why is there a choice of whether Layla can know this information or not? This is where having choices in a historical-based game really convolutes the entire story, because there is no choice.
So, do I just wait here or something?
Our task is already complete. What comes next, she must do on her own.
Just like in the Assassin's Creed 2 clip I played, Desmond learns from Ezio, just like Layla learns from Cassandra. They're both messengers in the past to people in the future. Even though...
I'm ready to meet the Heir now. When will I?
Your understanding. What you do not know is that while you are yet to meet her, she already knows you very well.
Possible. Cassandra?
Desmond?
He's talking to me?
I heard your name once before, Desmond. Make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
Both situations had both protagonists recognize each other and each other's importance. Layla could not be any more like Desmond. And now that this mission confirms that Layla will be saving the world yet again, it also confirms that they are so alike.
The Keeper's task is to never succumb to death. All those you will ever know and all you will ever love will die. Then you will learn to love again, and those will die too. But you will remain.
Alethea basically says that Cassandra will live on forever, and that she will have loved once, which I'm assuming was her family because she just got it together, and then, which that doesn't really make any sense because you could have had the bad family ending where they all died tragically, but continuity, yay. And the other issue was the second love? What was it? Was it Natakas? Was it Elpidios? Was it Darius? Was it all three? This DLC takes place before Legacy. I'm guessing due to Cassandra not knowing about her second love. But if it takes place before, then why release it after?
Altair 2, I have our next location.
Well done. Where to?
Agamemnon's tomb in Argolis. Layla to the Altair 2. It wasn't easy, but I'm in.
So, Layla somehow got in, despite the fact that there are no cracks or holes in the wall. Okay.
I still don't understand. An AI or some other kind of consciousness is in the staff, which is used to open the Great Seal to Atlantis?
Partly right. The symbols in these tombs are somehow tied to the symbols on the seal.
How?
I'll let you know, once I find one.
Guess I'm taking your word for it. Be careful in there.
So, they took the plot and they oversimplified it. Why? Is this for the people that really can't understand? Is this for the people that have not been paying attention for the past, I don't know, depends on how long you've been playing this game?
What a find!
What is it?
And spoil the surprise? All I'll say is prepare to be amazed when I get back.
Don't you just love extremely awkward dialogue placement? What was she talking about anyway? That happened the second after the previous moment. Why was it so close together? She didn't even do anything. She took 5 steps. What happens next is a very gripping, very compelling puzzle. It will take all of your wit and skill, and nope, it's just avoid the spikes and move the objects. That's it.
The first symbol is near.
Again, confirming that Alethea knows exactly where the symbols are. Why were you on this whole goose chase in the first place? Why can't she just, at Atlantis, tell you what the symbols are? But then that would ruin the plot.
The symbol!
The first of 3. You've done well, Heir.
She praises you for finding something that she could have given you in the first place. Don't say this is supposed to be some sort of test for Cassandra. How is literally following a path a test? Cassandra does all the work.
It almost looks like a constellation.
You see 3 scribbles in an ancient ruin, the first thing you think of is a constellation. I think the plot has to stop doing the talking and Layla kind of has to have her own motivations.
Layla, all of our readings are being jammed. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
So more readers are being jammed, and in the span of 30 seconds, we have 2 people unnecessarily screaming. You go to the present first, and then the past. If you move something in the present, it affects what's moved in the past. Why didn't they just make 2 separate maps? All they did was put a green haze.
Found Eteocles' tomb. Well done, Keeper.
You're praised for following a map?
Keeper, the Heir of Memories must search these old halls for the symbol she seeks. Will the Heir rise to the task?
There are urgent problems that need solving now, Alethea. This can wait.
Once again, why is a simulation of history preventing Layla from just sitting up in her animus? How can Cassandra decide what Layla does?
What you cannot show her, Deimos will.
Deimos? How?
The Heir will know when the time comes.
So, it will be revealed later why Deimos is so important, but just remember it as the day that Ubisoft really doubled down on not knowing what they're talking about.
Altair 2, found my way in. I think I'm getting good at this.
There might be a second career in this if assassin isn't your thing.
There's no way she could have found her way in, and Alana's cringy response doesn't help.
I still think this is a bad idea, Layla. We don't know the source of the radio interference, and there are temporal discrepancies in the Animus memories.
Noted, Doctor. Layla out.
Problems in the Animus didn't stop Layla from going into Cassandra's DNA in the first place, so why would she care about it now? And yet again, she doesn't, so she shuts off anything that has to do with her team. This is it, people. The most gripping moment in all of Assassin's Creed history. Oh wait, it's just moving more more blocks.
The second symbol is close. You have done well to get this far, despite the interloper.
The interloper? Do you mean Vic? Or someone else?
So now Layla thinks that the interloper is someone else. I don't really know where she comes up with that assumption, but I guess it could be anybody trying to interfere.
The second symbol! Another part of a constellation. Maybe they fit together.
She says it's another part of a constellation so adamantly, but she didn't even know in the first place if the first one was part of a constellation. She doesn't even know later when she finds the third one. She tells them to run it through constellation databases. So why is the plot speaking for her?
Altair 2, can you read me?
The interloper can hear us.
The interloper? Who?
Layla, we hear you, but you're breaking up.
So whoever this interloper is, he or she is listening in and learning whatever's going on.
Did you say you found the second symbol?
I did. And Cassandra knows where the third is. I'm sure of it. I'm going to dive back in.
As your doctor, and as your friend, I insist that we stop this. We're not able to guarantee you're safe in there. The staff?
The staff makes me immortal, Vic. I'll be fine.
Layla, please.
Not entirely sure Cassandra knows what the word immortal means. Immortal means that you live forever, but you can still be killed. I think she's looking for the term invincible or invulnerable. This writing for Layla just makes her sound so arrogant and like she knows what she's talking about, but she clearly doesn't.
In this tomb, the heir of memories will see how life grows from a dead place.
This is probably the only time in this mission where a question is actually raised rather than just recycling old information. Why would the heir of memories, Layla, need to know why life can be raised from a dead place?
The heir's task is to bring life where there was death.
So it's her actual task. I thought her task was to get into Atlantis. So that means Atlantis has something to do with bringing life to death. Who is dead that needs to be alive? Someone like Desmond? Well, Desmond's in the gray, and there's no way that he can contact... Maybe he's the interloper?
Altair 2, can you read me?
We hear you. Layla, there's something you need to know. The interference in the comms is coming from an outside source. If I didn't know any better, I'd say someone was listening in.
It must be related to the staff.
That's just it. I recognize the interference pattern. It isn't Isu.
So then it can't be Desmond. If Desmond is in the gray, according to Juno, then his interference would be of Isu origin. So if it's not of Isu origin, then it can't be him. Who could it be? Could it be someone from Abstergo?
It almost reminds me of an erudito hacking algorithm.
I'd recognize a hack if I saw one.
If Layla doesn't even know the terms immortal and invulnerable or invincible, then how could she tell the difference between a hacking program from Erudito or otherwise? This is just her being arrogant.
Bull murals. Because of the relationship between the constellation and Orion?
Hopefully you're starting to see how it's an issue that the plot is speaking for Cassandra, trying to make her smart and make her seem more interesting, despite the fact that constellations have never and will never deal with this mission. It's really an issue because you're trying to feel for Layla, but you can't because the plot is literally feeding her information.
We are approaching the final symbol. If the Keeper doesn't know the order of the symbols, her brother will.
Again, referencing Deimos for a momentarily pushed forward plotline, which will be introduced in a minute.
Lithia said Deimos would show me what the Keeper can't. Phidias had answers Theras didn't and was killed for it.
The heir is wise.
So if Alethea is actually talking to Layla, as she just did here because she commented to her response, then that doesn't make any sense why she literally can't just tell her what the symbols are. Alethea damn well better know how to get into Atlantis. This whole plot line is a plot hole.
Cassandra knew where the symbols were, but not the order they go in. Alethea thinks Deimos may hold that secret. We have his DNA.
What?
This is where they double down on their idea of choice. If Cassandra is on your game and you chose her, then that means Deimos is Alexios. But if you chose Alexios as your main character, that means Cassandra is Deimos, despite the fact that Cassandra is canon. So they're pushing the idea of your Odyssey and your choice by literally saying, oh, well, the other strand that we didn't choose, that's Deimos' strand, despite the fact that always, in every chance, every playthrough, Cassandra should be her, not Deimos. She should be the mercenary. This is so stupid that they would choose to add this, because it doubles down, like I said, on the idea of, oh, we're sticking by our guns. We're sticking through the choice aspect.
Layla, are you crazy?
I'm not crazy. I'm committed, and you should be too. When I get back to Atlantis, I'm getting this done whether you're on my side or not.
And here, her emotions just get wild just because her friend cares about her. She already knows what everything's going on with her in and out of the Animus, and she doesn't like that. But every single time, Layla shuts her down. So, at this point, Victoria's already beyond pissed because she keeps turning her down, and Layla still keeps yelling at her. So, the DNA they tried to go through revolved around Alexios going after Phidias.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
Why have a choice of not doing it when it literally just resets? It's going to reset every time if you don't choose what to do. This is also where the timeline comes into an issue. If Deimos was alive right before this quest began, then that means this quest had to have started around after Atlantis, but not before the Legacy of the First Blade. It gets really confusing to try and pinpoint the location of this timeline, all because of the RPG and choice aspect.
Your heart rate's accelerated and your body temp is almost 98 degrees. What's happening?
Itira, Korgath, Metin, that's all I know. You have to believe me.
So Layla's vitals are rising, probably because she's playing as Deimos, and she knows what Deimos is about to do, she knows what Deimos is feeling, and she doesn't like it. But if this is an RPG, and Cassandra can do whatever she wants, she can kill innocent civilians all day long, she can be a dirtbag and only ask for money and only care about money and blood, but this is the time she gets uncomfortable? Let alone the fact that this actually doesn't make sense. How can an Animus load right into a memory? We've seen time and time again with Layla in Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed 1 with Desmond Miles, you need to lead up to the memory you're looking for. You can't just jump right in. How can she just jump right in? We didn't see the lead up. So Layla also goes through these spaz moments where she sees herself actually as Deimos, and she's actually in the world punching Phidias, and it's supposedly having a great toll on her, and that's why she's elevating in heart rate. But like I said, I'm not buying it, because you can go and kill civilians as Cassandra and nothing happens. So Phidias repeats the same 3 words over and over, which goes back to the idea of his friend knowing where these locations are, Phidias also knowing about these locations and these symbols. Why were they looking in the first place? They're artists, or at least Phidias is. What is he going through ancient tombs looking for these symbols for? It doesn't really make any sense, and the plot won't tell you because then that would have to involve creative writing.
Korgath, Metin.
Layla? Come in.
Vic, you had no right!
I had to pull you out. Diving into Deimos' mind almost killed you.
So playing as a killer almost killed her. Again, RPG, you can be whoever you want, or at least that's what they tell you. It doesn't make sense why Deimos was such an issue.
The interloper, he is listening.
He?
So the interloper's a he.
Sigma, I'm opening fire.
Doc, fall back. Kiyoshi's been hit.
Altair 2, come in. Altair 2! Vic! Anyone! Can you hear me?
Some more examples of extremely awkward audio. The fact that there was no gunshot when Kiyoshi was hit, despite the fact he was on comms. And then there's the big issue. Why aren't we seeing any of this? Why aren't we interacting in any of this? When Sigma Team showed up to fight Layla in Origins, they had bow and arrows in their hands. Why? It's because the Montreal team was too lazy to create special models for guns and animations for guns. These teams don't care about showing you what's happening in modern day.
The trials of the Heir are just beginning.
Did Cassandra just reach in her ass and pull out the staff?
I don't want any of this. I'm no heir. I thought I could do this, but I can't.
You must.
You can try to deny your place in this Atlantis situation, but much like I've been trying to say, this game has an illusion of choice. It all revolves around to the same option. Yes, you're involved. Get over it. Why have two different options if it's going to revolve back to the same choice? Yes, you're involved. Get over it.
Alright, we do things your way for now. Talking stick.
I don't know why she thinks she's funny, and why this game tries to make it seem like she's funny, when this entire mission, and most of the game, she's been nothing but an arrogant a-hole who doesn't really care about anything.
This symbol was the first I found, and the first name said by Phidias was Itira.
The Heir recalls. She heard the names of the symbols and their order. Now, call out the name of the second.
The name is coming to me. Suker.
The Heir would be wise to never utter that name.
I can hear Phidias, but the name escapes me. Toralia?
The time as Demos may have overcome you, but the Heir must try. Search your memories.
There's no punishment for getting anything wrong in this game, especially in a mission where you literally need to open the gates to Atlantis. They emphasized so much on that list that Phidias was saying, but it doesn't matter, you could have been holding up your ears the whole time. You could just guess and get it right because this game is not a true RPG like it advertises as.
Layla, can you hear us?
Vic, you're alive!
Sigma 4 soldiers stormed the ship. Kiyoshi was shot, but I stopped the bleeding. He saved us.
First off, she shoves the staff right back up her ass. And second off, again, why couldn't we see the fight against Sigma? I don't understand how they just think it's okay to shove modern day off, but then they're like, oh, well, we'll give you a whole mission about modern day, but it's literally you walking around through tombs. This is pathetic. And if people think this rejuvenates Layla's qualities as a wonderful protagonist, they're so wrong.
It isn't the staff. Someone is intentionally remote hacking our signal. I encrypted a new frequency for us, just to be sure.
We need to go dark until we know it's safe.
So that means it was someone manually getting inside their system, not some sort of Isu entity that can just hop onto any network.
Before we go, how are you?
It's good to hear your voices. Listen, I've unlocked the Great Seal. Atlantis is open.
In the main game, the quest was to seal Atlantis. Pythagoras said he didn't want it falling into the wrong hands. So, you gathered 4 apples of Edens, which didn't make sense, they should have just been regular keys. Regardless, you plugged them into the respective pedestals, and it locked Atlantis. Yay, mission complete. Well then, why do you go through this mission and say 3 key words and it's open? In present day, you're out in the main room, and the pedestals are down. That means Atlantis is locked. Why do you open it again? What was the point of the main mission of locking Atlantis when you literally can just say 3 key words and open it up?
Please, don't go in until we know we can keep a secure connection. I want this as much as you do, but we need to do it together.
I'm hearing you, Doctor. Atlantis has waited this long. It can wait a little longer.
Layla has ignored everyone's orders up until now. All of a sudden, she listens to Victoria now. So that was it. That was the Heir of Memories, and To be honest, it was quite lackluster to say the least, but then again, what part of Odyssey wasn't? Overall, I've seen so many people online that have said, oh, this saves Cassandra's character, and I told you she was going to be important. Well, anybody with a brain could see that Cassandra was important, given the messages from Origins, because they flat out said she was. So why would anyone argue that she isn't? It's the fact that she is important without deserving it. That's the issue. I don't understand this whole concept of let's just throw a protagonist at you and force you to like them by making her funny and quippy, but also a mean, rude jerk. I don't get it. She's not likable, but I guess we're going to have to deal with her, maybe even for another whole freaking game. This thing was a mess lore-wise and character-wise. Overall, it was pretty consistent, like I had mentioned before, with what Odyssey had already delivered. We hope you enjoyed. We'd like to break things down like this, and we're going to continue doing these in the future. So if you're interested in more, please hit that like button and subscribe. We're going to link a playlist down below to videos where we went over Legacy of the First Blade, the DLC for this game, Odyssey, and we did this type of analysis. Thank you for watching. Comment what you think, and we'll see you in the next video.